Yeah. Amanda, can you make that screen the slide, the whole screen?
Yep, I can.
Instead of the computer.
Janet's gonna help me. She's gonna start letting people in from the lobby that way, because every time somebody comes in the lobby, I have to leave the full screen. So Janet's coming on to help with that.
Okay,
so
great.
We'll get back to. Okay, there we go.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, it's 12 o'clock. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Road to Recovery Post-Hurricane Ian. Thank you so much for being here with us.
She was in a hurry. I don't think she meant to slam the door. She wanted me to get on the webinar so I could let people in because it was overwhelming.
Everything's cool then?
Yeah, we're all good. Thank you for checking.
We would like everybody at this time to mute your computers, please. Also, we wanted to let everybody know that we'll be collecting questions via Teams chat. And at the end of all of the presentations, we'll be able to answer questions or attempt to answer all the questions that you have. So please send in your questions as you think of them via the chat box on your screen. And again, thank you for being here. We're the Economic Development Office. We're a government department. We work as a catalyst to attract and grow diversified industry in Charlotte County. Those industries are typically industries who offer high wage, skilled paying jobs, and they help bring in new money into our community and grow our economy, bringing in tax base, which enhances the quality of life for everyone here. Our office, along with our community partners, work with existing and new business owners in just about every area that you can think of in the community to help it grow. such as new site selection and development, business retention and expansion, workforce development, identifying financial resources for our businesses, marketing resources and entrepreneurship, and educating our businesses just like we're doing today. So today we've pulled together some of our partners to bring to you some helpful information regarding the road to recovery post Hurricane Ian in response to topics that you, our business community, has expressed interest in knowing more about as we navigate through this post-hurricane season. Just some real quick facts for you. We do have Business Outreach Center going. We have four individuals that are helping us reach out to our business community via the telephone. And those folks have been able to gather in the last, I want to say about 6 weeks, pull together some numbers and just some quick facts for you. We have been able to call out to 3,000 businesses so far in that 6 weeks. We've surveyed 800 companies. Of those 800 companies, we've discovered 700 of employees of those businesses have been dislocated or put on unemployment. 120 of those businesses are not open for business yet. We're hoping that they soon will be. And then we've been able to gather an estimated total of $250 million in damages, economically or physical damages. So this hurricane has had a pretty high impact to our community, as you can see, and that's only 800 businesses reporting the $250 million in damages. So it was a major event for our small community. With that, I'm just going to, before our speakers move forward, I'm going to give the mic over to Amanda Benton. Amanda is our Business Retention and Recruitment Coordinator. Amanda will talk to you a little bit about our website and some of the resources that are available to our business community via those that website. So take it away, Amanda.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, this is our website. So if you go to clearedfortakeoff, that's the number 4.com/hurricane_Ian. We do have some resources here. This is just a screen grab of the website. Right here at the top, of course, we have our webinar today because we've been promoting that. We have put together a Hurricane Ian business recovery guide that has resources for businesses and their employees about debris removal, SBA loans. We did want to mention that the Florida Bridge Loan, they did reopen that program last night, so applications are open till tomorrow. The Florida Bridge Loan is a loan up to $50,000. It's a year term, no interest. You can find information on that on our social media right here. You can just click over. So our business recovery guide, if you would like a copy of it, if you want to leave your email address in the comments, I'm happy to send that to you after the webinar, or you can of course go to our website and download it yourself. Another great resource for businesses is floridadisaster.biz. Here you can access not only relevant tweets from Florida, the state of Florida, about hurricane relief, but you can apply for disaster unemployment assistance. There is the Business Damage Assessment Survey. Now, our Research Outreach Center is doing this survey with businesses over the phone. If you haven't done the survey and you would like to, you can access it from floridadisaster.biz. They also have, this is where you will apply for the Florida Bridge Loan if you'd like to. You can also apply for the bridge loan and the SBA loans at our FEMA disaster recovery centers. There are 2 in Charlotte County, one in Inglewood at the Tringali Recreation Center in Inglewood, and then the parking lot of the Cultural Center in Port Charlotte. So those addresses are right there Just a note, those centers will be closed a few days for the holidays, the 23rd through the 26th and the 30th through the 2nd. If you want a copy of the presentation, we will have this on our website after the webinar later today, and we'll also have a recording of the webinar on our YouTube that we'll share. So if you missed anything, we'll have that information for you. Like we did say, our outreach center is in the process of making outreach calls to businesses. If you've not been reached out to and you need immediate assistance, please feel free to call our office. You can also reach out to Kay and I personally. Our email addresses are in this slideshow. Okay, so
Thanks.
Yeah, please contact us with any questions, and we appreciate everyone being here.
Thanks so much, Amanda. Appreciate that overview of the website. And today, it is my pleasure to introduce our co-hosts. We have Maureen Morganthon. I believe that's how you pronounce it, right, Maureen? Maureen.
Morganthon, yes.
Morganthon, great, thank you. Maureen is with the Punta Gorda Inglewood Beach Visitor and Convention Bureau. She's the marketing director. We also have John Wright, who is the Punta Gorda Chamber president. We have Doug Izzo, who is the Inglewood, Florida Chamber of Commerce executive director. Also one of our co-hosts, he's not with us today, but is Bob White. He is the executive director of the Charlotte County Chamber of Commerce. So thank you all for being here and for your support. We also, Amanda, if you want to go to the next slide, we also wanted to introduce our speakers, and we'll be giving bios for our speakers, but I just wanted to introduce and thank them myself for being a part of this webinar. We have Sharon Dooley and Courtney Smith from the U.S. Small Business Administration. We have Patrick Fuller, who is from the Charlotte County Emergency Management Department. We have Bill Welch, who's with CareerSource Southwest Florida, and Angie Matheson from the Charlotte County United Way. Thank you all for being here. Now, with that, I'll hand it over to Maureen. She will be talking a little bit about just a quick tourism update, and then she'll introduce our first speaker. Now, take it away, Maureen. Thank you.
Thank you, Kay. Good afternoon, everyone. Just a quick update on the tourism front. We've had a few interesting years, not necessarily in a good way, with COVID and Ian serving up unexpected challenges, but the economic impact of visitors to the destination continues to grow. As a result of Hurricane Ian, we have many visitor-facing businesses bouncing back quickly, most notably restaurants. Approximately 85% are open at this point, but we also have some businesses where it is taking some time. On the hotel side of the business, we have 18 of 26 hotels open and operating. The remaining are scheduled to reopen between January and April. As for golf, which is one of our activities here that's very popular, 15 of 18 golf courses are open. Our attractions and activities are getting back on their feet. Unfortunately, the Charlotte Sports Park will not be able to accommodate the Tampa Bay Rays spring training this year due to the damage caused by the storm. We will continue to market the destination with our current advertising campaign, which is called Find Your Outside, which focuses on the many facets of the outdoor experience here in Charlotte County. At this point, it is a privilege to introduce our next speaker, which is Sharon Dooley, Public Affairs Specialist with the U.S. Small Business Administration, Office of Disaster Assistance. She is committed to helping survivors recover and rebuild in times of disaster with low interest loans provided by the SBA to homeowners, renters, business owners, and nonprofits. Sharon is dedicated to fostering great public awareness of the resources offered by the SBA to cover the gap of the uninsured and the underinsured during disasters. When not working, Sharon enjoys spending time with her children and volunteering with various service organizations in her community. And let's welcome Sharon.
Good afternoon. My name is Sharon Dooley, and on behalf of myself and my colleague Courtney Smith and SBA, we want to send our condolences out to the survivors of Hurricane Ian. And I would like to give you a little bit of information about what our agency offers. Next slide, Amanda. Hurricane Ian has been a declared disaster, and it covers 27 counties for physical and economical injury loans from the SBA. There's been 12 adjacent counties that is eligible for economic injury disaster loans for their businesses. The physical loans, we have interest rates as low as 2.18 for home loans, as low as 3.04% for businesses, and for nonprofit organizations, the interest rate is as low as 1.87% for physical disaster loans. For economic injury loans, which you will hear me refer to as EIDL loans, types of business are small business and small agriculture cooperatives, and their interest rate is low as 3.04%. And the nonprofit business organization's interest rate is low as 1.875%. The deadline to apply for the physical damage loan is January 12, 2023. And the deadline to apply for the economic injury loan is June 29, 2023. Next, Amanda. SBA disaster loans are available for physical damage from declared disaster to more than just small businesses. SBA disaster loans are available to non-farm businesses of all sizes, homeowners, renters, private and nonprofit organizations. SBA economic disaster loans are available to small non-farm businesses, small agriculture cooperatives, small businesses engaged in aquaculture, and most private nonprofit organizations. The EIDL loans help meet working capital needs caused by disaster, even if the business did not have physical damage. Next, the types of loans for business loans, business and private nonprofits. Purpose of it is to repair or replace real estate inventory and equipment. The maximum amount is $2 million. For economic injury loans, small business and private nonprofits working capital is also available for up to $2 million. Home loans for homeowners to repair or replace primary damage is for up to $200,000. That's the maximum. Home loans for homeowners and renters for repair or replace personal property damages, $40,000. We also offer mitigation for businesses, private nonprofits, and homeowners. Mitigation prevent future loss of the same type. 25% of physical verified physical damage to homeowners of the $200,000 maximum can be used for mitigation. The maximum business loans is $2 million unless the business qualifies as a major source of employment. U.S. Small Administration offers disaster loans with no interest and no payments for the first year. So that's zero interest. Interest rates are 0% for the first year, and the initial payment is deferred automatically for the first 12 months from the date of the loan. Loans amounts and terms are set by SBA and are based on each applicant financial condition. Back, yes. Go back, Amanda.
1 moment.
You went too far. Okay. We ask you to apply as soon as possible. The biggest reason for delays in process is due to missing information. Make sure to complete all following requirements before submitting the application. If the loan request is denied, the applicant will be given up to 6 months into which to provide new information and submit a written request for reconsideration. Next. Loan eligibility restrictions. Only uncompensated losses, disaster losses not compensated by insurance or other recoveries such as FEMA grants, reimbursement by another party, settlement of a lawsuit, etc., are eligible. Applicants are not eligible if they have not complied with the terms of a previous SBA loan agreement or other federal obligations. Failure to maintain required insurance, court or child support, student loans, or federal income tax, etc. The law gives SBA several powerful tools to make disaster loans affordable. We offer low interest rates, long-term 15 or 30 years, refinance of prior debts in some cases. Loan and insurance requirements. Requirements for loan and approval. Eligibility. Damaged property must be in declared area. credit history. Applicants must have a credit history acceptable to SBA, and applicants must show the ability to repay all loans. Borrowers must obtain and maintain appropriate insurance as a condition of most loans. Hazard insurance required on all secured loans. Flood insurance required for properties located in special flood hazard areas and for properties damaged in a flood disaster. Collateral requirements. Physical loans over $25,000 require collateral. Economic injury loans over $25 require collateral. A business may receive up to $50,000 unsecured disaster business loans, but that is a combination of physical and economical injury loan funds. If it's over $50,000, collateral is required. That being said, SBA will not decline a loan for lack of collateral, but require collateral that is available. Next, Amanda. The application process. Apply for a disaster loan. Apply at SBA secured website, disasterloanassistance.sba.gov. Filing deadline in most cases for physical damage 60 days from the declaration date. However, the deadline has been extended in this declaration because of disasters widespread. So the deadline is January 12, 2023. Filing deadline for economic injury loans is 9 months from the declaration date, and that deadline stands at June 29, 2023. Second step is property verification and loan processing. SBA will contact applicants to verify damage and schedule a site visit if necessary. SBA will process the file to a decision, and it could take up to 2 to 3 weeks normally, but in a disaster as widespread as this, it may be a little longer. If approved, loan documents are forwarded to the borrower. The applicant is advised of appeal rights if declined. Third step is loan closing and disbursement. Initial and disbursement is generally made within 5 days after the applicant signs and returns the required loan closing documents. Up to $25,000 for physical damages and up to $25,000 for economic injury. Subsequent disbursements are generally made in installments to match the pace of construction. Don't wait, mitigate, protect your business or your home from future damage. Disaster mitigation is an effort to reduce loss of life and property by lessening the impact of disasters. Disasters can happen at any time, in any place. The numbers of disasters each year is increasing, but only 50% of the events trigger federal assistance. Building back smarter and stronger now can be an effective recovery tool for future disasters. Strengthening your business doesn't need to cost a fortune. Projects such as maintaining gutters can be low cost, while getting a backup generator requires greater financial investment. $1 spent on mitigation today defers an estimated $6,000 future damages. Build back stronger, smarter, and more resilient. Mitigation is affordable. A regular loan amount of $100,000 can qualify for an additional mitigation amount. If your loan amount was 1.688% and your monthly payment was $354.21, if you get mitigation, it would be $407.35, and that's a 30-year term. Flood mitigation: seal your roof deck, elevate structures, add a sump pump, relocate outside of a floodplain, landscape your property to improve water runoff and drainage. Wind mitigation: brace, upgrade to wind-rated garage doors, install hurricane roof straps, upgrade to pressure-related windows, install safe room or storm shelter. SBA has resource partners. Consulting provided by SBA Resource Partners is a vital form of disaster assistance and help businesses successfully stay in operation, develop operational financial and marketing plans, consider alternate sources of revenue, and identify ways to reduce costs, update management and technical services, assist with the preparation of SBA's disaster loan applications. We work with the SBDC, Women's Business Centers, SCORE, VBOC, and others. You can contact us for more information at www.sba.gov/disaster, or you can call us at 1-800-659-2955 or 1-800-877-8339, or by email at disastercustomerservice@sba.gov. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sharon. I really appreciate all that information. A lot to digest, and I think we have a lot of your information on our website, but you've got some great resources. We have this this webinar recorded, so this will be going up on our website as well. So if people want to hear it again or see your slides again, you're a great organization for those companies. Anytime post hurricane or disaster, but anytime they are looking to expand or grow their business, SBA plays a big role for our business community, and especially in major events like this. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for reaching out to our community. You and Courtney have been absolutely awesome. I'm sure that there's going to be questions waiting for you in our chat box, so hang in there, and folks that have some questions can write it in, and Amanda will collect them, and we'll hopefully we'll be able to address them all before the end of this webinar. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Our next speakers will be introduced by John Wright, the president of the Punta Gorda Chamber. John.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Kay, and the invitation today. My name is John Wright, president of the Punta Gorda Chamber. I do want to congratulate our entire business community on the resilience and strength, and also the partners that are all on the podcast today. Sharon, what you've been doing with us and the Chamber and talking, and it's just given up so much hope, and use the services of anybody that you listen to today. It is my pleasure to introduce Patrick Fuller, who began his career in emergency management with the Florida Division of Emergency Management in 2009, working in the State Watch office. During that time, Patrick took part in the response to the 2010 Haiti repatriation effort following the devastating 8.0 earthquake that devastated the Haitian capital of Port-au-Prince. Also in 2010, Patrick participated in the state of Florida's response to the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. During that 3-month activation, Patrick served as the Florida State Emergency Response Team's operations chief at Unified Command in Mobile, Alabama, and as the deputy branch chief in both Port St. Joe and Pensacola. In 2012, Mr. Fuller assumed the position as regional coordinator for the 10-county region in Southwest Florida. And during his 5.5-year tenure in that position, Patrick responded to numerous declared disasters and special events, to include tropical storms Debbie and Isaac, the 2012 Republican National Convention in Tampa, the 2014 Northwest Florida flooding event, and hurricanes Hermine and Matthew. In June of 2017, Patrick accepted the position of Emergency Management Coordinator with Charlotte County Emergency Management. During the response to Hurricane Irma that same year, Patrick managed the operations section of the Charlotte County Emergency Operations Center. In October 2018, he's a busy guy, the director of Charlotte County Emergency Management and Patrick deployed to Gadsden County, Florida, a day prior to the landfall of Hurricane Michael. Over a 2-week period, they assisted Gadsden County with their initial response and immediate recovery from the impacts of Michael. Patrick has been director of the Charlotte County Emergency Management since September of 2019 and oversees the county's efforts to provide for, respond to, recovery from, and mitigate against natural and man-made disasters. Patrick is a graduate of Florida State University and retired from the United States Marine Corps in April of 2022 with nearly 24 years of combined active duty and reserve service. Patrick, we thank you for your service, and over to you.
Thank you, and I apologize for that long bio. I really need to shorten that up. Thank you for having me this afternoon. I appreciate it. If you can go to the next slide, I don't think I need to provide too much reminder of what faced us on September 28th. Category 4 Ian, obviously, we all know by now, is tied for 5th most powerful storm to make landfall in the continental United States. Interestingly enough, as a reminder, we need to keep our guard up every season. This is the 5th Category 4 or higher storm to make landfall on the Gulf Coast since 2017. As bad off as we were impacted, we just should probably thank our lucky stars that it didn't shift a little slightly further north because the storm surge that we saw down there at Fort Myers Beach in Sanibel and the Berry Islands of Lee County could have been a reality here. But I probably don't need to provide too much more reminder of what we're already still seeing the impacts of. Some of those pictures you're seeing on the screen there are what was the immediate response to Hurricane Ian. Think of that as the tourniquet to stop the bleeding. You know, it's the points of distribution where they're distributing, the National Guard and other community partners are distributing out food, water, tarps. Additionally, we had medical resources brought into the community to increase our capacity of the capacity we lost from our hospitals that suffered damage. There was over 1 million meals served from nonprofit organizations. Over 8,000 individuals qualified for the Disaster Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program. These are folks that don't normally qualify for food stamps that were given additional money for nutritional assistance. In addition to that, to date, we've had over 54,000 people apply for individual assistance here in Charlotte County. In subsequent slides, I'll go more into that, but the response, the immediate response has wrapped up. What we're dealing with now is the longer term, long-term recovery, and I would argue the more difficult part of this. At the end, we hope to build back to more resiliently and a stronger community that is more capable of withstanding future disasters. Because unfortunately, our geography, the price we pay for living in paradise is that we will encounter more of these tropical events. If you've seen previous presentations, pre-hurricane season presentations from me, you probably saw a slide that involved the safety risks right after a storm. We've moved beyond that for the most part. Some of those risks involved, working with power tools and carbon monoxide poisoning from using generators and wildlife and things of that nature and down power lines. Luckily, the restoration of infrastructure and the movement of most debris has concluded. What we do have to deal with in the longer term, and what I've seen by encountering residents throughout the community, is there are damaged homes out there, people still living in them. They're likely to see mold, and as that mold grows, those homes become uninhabitable. That may be the case for some of your employees, some of you yourselves, or your businesses. Obviously, these are concerns, and probably the disaster after the disaster are the dangerous conditions of homes that had water intrusion or lingering damage. Additionally, I said debris. We've been moving right along. The county has surpassed 3 million cubic yards of debris removed in the community from public right-of-ways a few days ago. But every one of us, we see those piles, they remain. They are safety concerns. Certainly we can anticipate wildlife being an issue with those. I promise you that the county is moving swifter than has ever happened before, but it remains a daunting task. The amount, the cubic yards of debris that's estimated right now is over 4 million cubic yards is the total estimate from this storm. I anticipate that estimate going up even more. Just things to keep in mind for yourselves, your employees, your businesses. Debris is going to be a lingering concern. Contractors are moving as quickly as possible, but that is a concern that you need to be cognizant of. Next slide, please. So I'd mentioned there's resources out there for yourselves, your employees, our residents here in the community. I urge everyone, if you have not done so already, please pass this along to your employees. If you haven't done so yourself, please do it yourself. Apply for FEMA individual assistance. We have till January 12th, the same deadline as the Small Business Administration applications. That is the deadline to go ahead and apply for FEMA individual assistance. There's a couple reasons to do this application. Whether you have what you think is adequate insurance, whether you're underinsured, no insurance, that first step is going ahead and applying for FEMA individual assistance. FEMA will not make everyone whole. I think their total amount of assistance they can provide per individual is just north of $30,000. But you don't know what you qualify for until you apply. Secondly, there are state assistance programs that require you to have applied for FEMA individual assistance. So I urge everyone, you have a little less than a month to do so. Please apply for FEMA individual assistance. And the same goes for the Small Business Administration loans. I'm not going to go back over that. I appreciate Sharon, her presentation on that. She's been a great partner, as has the rest of the Small Business Administration. That's a great resource to our residents, and I urge everyone to take advantage of that if they have the need. I had mentioned the state of Florida, the Division of Emergency Management has created some programs for additional assistance to our residents and businesses. One of those is the Unmet Needs Portal. FEMA is the lead for direct housing, and we have roughly 1,800 individuals in our community that have applied for FEMA individual assistance and have qualified for direct housing. 500 of those individuals have indicated that they do indeed want one of those, whether it's a mobile home, a travel trailer, to reside in. That program doesn't move as quickly as anybody wants, but FEMA is working diligently to identify sites, move those mobile homes into the community, and allow for individuals to have housing who may be residing in a relative's home, in a hotel, or some other place. This will keep our workforce here locally, so that they can remain in the community and benefit the economy. If they do not qualify for FEMA direct housing, the state of Florida has created this Unmet Needs Portal, and it is a shorter term, intermediate sheltering type program, but it's very similar to the direct housing mission of FEMA, but it only lasts for a maximum of 6 months. Individuals can go ahead and apply for this program by going to that enrecovery.fl.gov/unite website, and again, they will have to have already applied for FEMA individual assistance to complete the application. Additionally, we do still have the disaster recovery centers operating at the Tringali Rec Center and in the parking lot of the Cultural Center. These are the best places for our residents to go to find out what's going on with their application. They can also apply for individual assistance at those locations, but this is that one-stop shop that everyone can go to, find out what's happening with their case. We have had a total of 4 town hall meetings with FEMA and the Small Business Administration, doing a Q&A with residents and doing some deep dives into their individual cases. The takeaways from those meetings are generally there's frustration from our residents regarding debris, of course, housing, of course, but eligibility. Tringali is still open, Kay, as is the Cultural Center. And those do have those holiday hours that I believe Amanda touched on at the beginning. But the eligibility, once you apply, it really is important that individuals engage with that application. If there's documents that FEMA doesn't have, they're not going to be able to move forward on it. So I encourage anyone who does apply to continue to update the information, whether that's calling the 800 number, going in person to the disaster recovery centers, or if they download the FEMA app, they can do a lot of that right there on the application. Additionally, and of course, it's no one here is a stranger to this. Insurance is an issue. I urge our residents who have frustrations with the insurance process to, if they're not getting, if their insurance companies are not communicative, or they're not getting the answers they want, the Chief Financial Officer for the state of Florida has opened up the consumer helpline. And I didn't include that in the slide, but I'll put it in the chat. That is 877-693-5236. That operates during normal business hours, Monday through Friday. But that's where we can get the Chief Financial Officer's Office of Insurance Regulation involved if individuals are having issues with their individual insurance companies. Disaster unemployment assistance, I'm sure that'll be covered in further slides, but that is available to our residents who have lost wages due to the storm and lost jobs. But this next bullet may be of importance and interest to many of you. Normally, FEMA does not reimburse for private property debris removal or commercial property debris removal. So the county contract does not include those items. They only allow for debris removal within the public right-of-way. What the state of Florida has done, they've gone ahead and requested that FEMA allow the Florida Division of Emergency Management to address those concerns for private property debris removal and commercial property debris removal. And they've hired contractors to do that. They're in the community. They were working to get people registered. The iandebriscleanup.com website is where you can go to register for that, as well as 850-961-2002. Those are just some of those resources that are out there. I also urge everyone to go to the Economic Development website, but also the Charlotte County FL.gov website. We have numerous, thank you, Amanda. We have numerous links out there to the The most up-to-date information that we have, we've been working closely with the Florida Division of Emergency Management, FEMA, Small Business Administration to ensure that those resources that our community needs, our residents needs, our business needs, that they are present here in the community and they stay until they're no longer needed. We do have, through the Charlotte Community Foundation, the Gulf Coast Partnership, and our Human Services Department, we have what's a neighborly software. This is the Charlotte County Long-Term Recovery Survey and basically an intake for any of our residents out there who have more unmet needs and need disaster case management, because recovery is going to be a longer road from them. I urge them to go ahead and go to that link I've put in the slide down there for neighborly, and go ahead and fill out that survey. That's the first step for our nonprofit organizations, our case management folks, to really start doing a deep dive and get people back on their feet for the long term. Next slide, please. I do have one last plug to throw out there, and Kay may already have this on her agenda, but we had a kickoff on December 2nd for our long-term recovery group. This is that group who's basically tasked with putting together, and to steal a term from Carrie Walsh from our Human Services Department, that aspirational visioning of how we want our community to look when we come out of this recovery. And recovery is no short-term thing. It takes years. But we're compiling a document, a plan for long-term recovery. We break that up into different task forces. They include housing, unmet needs, health and human services, but there is an economic recovery component to that as well. So I urge anyone who's interested in being involved in that effort to please either reach out to me. I know Kay and Dave over there can help as well, but this, at the end of this, that document, that long-term recovery plan, will include a lot of project opportunities, aspirational goals, things that we want to do here in the community, whether that's creating a paramedicine program to provide more access to healthcare for our elderly community, or mental health, or building a more robust program that, from my office, to help with business continuity or anything else. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to either myself or economic development. Sorry I'm so long-winded, but that's all I have for everyone. And I appreciate everyone's time.
Thanks so much, Patrick. Wow, we're very, very privileged. I don't know if people know, but I know you're one busy guy, especially of late. So thank you so much, Patrick, for being here and giving us all of that information. The Emergency Operations Center is a great resource for our business community. And if you're interested in more information, like Patrick said, you can contact that organization. Also, Amanda, I see, posted the portal for neighborlysoftware.com. It's in the chat, so if anybody's interested, just save that link for yourselves. Also, you can, if you're looking for other information, you can always call 211. That is our non-emergency number for information for Charlotte County. Okay, thanks again. Our next speaker will be introduced by Doug Izzo, the Executive Director of the Inglewood, Florida Chamber of Commerce. Doug.
Well, thank you for having me today. We certainly appreciate all that you guys do and do to assist us every day. So today I have the pleasure of introducing Bill Welch. Bill has over 30 years in the employment industry. He has experience in most aspects of this industry, including being a recruiter or headhunter, owning his own temporary service, 13 years with a national staffing company, and now 10 years with CareerSource Southwest Florida, which is a nonprofit workforce development agency connecting employers with hiring needs to qualified professionals. So, Bill, the floor is all yours.
Well, thank you very much, Doug. I greatly appreciate that introduction. Just like Sharon and Patrick did, there's a lot of information here, and I want to try to make it very short. I would just recommend that at the end of this, if you have additional questions, do the Q&A and/or reach out to me on an individual basis. There's actually a couple of different programs I'm going to be referencing to today, and that's going to encompass everybody in Charlotte County, whether it be a nonprofit, governmental, individuals, as well as for-profit entities and small businesses. So hopefully you'll get something out of this. Next slide. Let's see what you have there. So yeah, so we're a nonprofit, so I'm not here to sell you anything, and we partner with a lot of community partners, including, once again, the SBA and the Charlotte County Economic Development, every pretty much economic, educational systems, you name it. As Doug had mentioned, we do try to connect employers with qualified professionals. We come up with customized solutions to employers' hiring needs, but we also offer a wide range of services and programs to both the employers as well as individuals looking to advance their careers or are new in the area. And the other side of what we do at CareerSource Southwest Florida is we fund training. So both on the educational side as well as the business side. So the first slide is that right now, because of the disaster, we have a grant that was just given to us. And the best way I can describe it is for nonprofit organizations and government entities. And the thrust of this is that the best way I can describe it is a triangle. We, CareerSource Southwest Florida, is the recipient of the grant. Nonprofit and government entities is the worksite employer. And the third part of the triangle is we have an employer of record that would take care of all the workman's comp, all the payroll, any supplies needed to help with humanitarian and disaster relief in Charlotte County. And as was mentioned by Patrick, this is a long-term recovery that's going to take place. This grant is actually going to be available for at least 2 years. And what we're trying to do is to assist nonprofits and government entities try to get the county back into where it was, even though it's going to take a long time. The second half of this grant, the next slide, is for individuals that were impacted by Hurricane Ian. Whether it be they're unemployed or if they're laid off or just or if they were unemployed for the last 6 of the last 13 weeks, they are most likely eligible for this grant. And the main thrust is we want to get these folks back to work. We want to have them start making money. And it doesn't matter where these individuals come from, meaning anybody can refer individuals to us, and we can make sure they're eligible, in which case they are able to work. These are temporary positions, meaning that we are going to help them find permanent placement if, let's say, the business they were working for does not reopen. We could assist, but at the same time, if somebody's closed down, you have a resort that's actually closed down on one of the barrier islands, and they're going to be another 6 months before they reopen, we want to help them, their employees, find work until they reopen and then get them back engaged with that previous employer. So the wages start at $15 an hour. They're able to work up to a year or 2,080 hours, whichever comes first. So the idea is that if an agency wants to actually hire these folks on full time, that's the idea. We want to find permanent placement or career paths for individuals that were impacted by Hurricane Ian. So it's a win-win scenario, and this is going to be ongoing. And we would refer them to our Port Charlotte Center, where they would be, we get monitored by the state because these are federal tax dollars. And so we have to build a file on these individuals. So eligibility, we do a drug test, we do a background check. And if the employer, the worksite employer would be a nonprofit or government agency, needs additional information like a level 2 background, we'll be more than happy to negotiate that or get that taken care of. The last thing, and I'm trying to make this quick here, the last thing is that the last slide is for nonprofits or for-profit companies. We also have an on-the-job training program where if there's a skills gap, since right now, it's very hard to find people, individuals that have the necessary skills. We have an on-the-job training program where if the individual, in this case, the individual versus the for-profit company has to be eligible for this program. If they are, we could actually reimburse the employer up to 50% of the wages, up to 6 months, to a maximum of $7,000 per individual if this person qualifies. And it's a great program. It's to help you build bench as a for-profit entity in Charlotte County. And this is the one great program that we have. It's administered locally, very quick, very little to be done from the employer standpoint. And it hopefully will be able to assist, and there's not really a cap as far as the amount of this program that an employer could use. So with that, I'm trying to make it enough time here. So with that, by all means, next slide, you can just go ahead and reach out to me directly. Next slide, sorry. And and once again, going back to what Patrick had mentioned, individual FEMA assistance, that'd be the way to go. And then you can contact us, and while you're trying to work out arrangements with FEMA, we could actually help you get employed in the interim. So I greatly appreciate your time.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. The Career and Service Center is another great resource for our businesses and their employees here in Charlotte County. And if anybody's interested in more information, as you can see, the phone number on the screen, 239-931-8200, extension 1805 is Bill's direct line. And we appreciate all that information and all that you do. Thank you. Thank you once again. Now, our final speaker introduction is going to be done by Amanda Benton. Amanda, as I mentioned earlier, is the Charlotte County Economic Development Business Retention and Expansion Coordinator. Amanda. Amanda, are you on mute?
I am now. Hold on one second. All right, so Angie Matheson. Sorry, I have two Teams chats so I can monitor the chat and Andy's slides. So Angie Matheson joined United Way of Charlotte County in 2014. Matheson obtained her Master's of Social Work from the University of Georgia in 1994 and her Bachelor's of Psychology from Georgia State University in 1990. Prior to joining United Way of Charlotte County, she worked at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta for over 15 years, leading the Immunize Georgia program, as well as several statewide school health initiatives. In 2012, she edited the statewide School Health Resource Manual, a 600-page resource for every school in Georgia. Prior to that, she worked as a pediatric oncology social worker at Aflac Cancer Center for 5 years. Before that, she worked in inner city Atlanta at Grady Hospital with adolescent mothers through the Healthy Families program. Matheson has been actively involved in Charlotte County, including participating in the Leadership Charlotte class of 2014, where she served as vice president of the class. A Florida native, Angie resides in Punta Gorda with her husband, Britt, and daughter, Leah. Thank you, Angie.
Thanks, you guys. And we're going to move through some slides pretty quickly, but we're the United Way of Charlotte County, and Amanda, just keep moving. Our mission, mobilizing the power of the community by mobilizing the power of our community to break the cycle of poverty. I'm hopeful maybe the slides can be sent out, but this is a little bit about the work that we do to mobilize and how we mobilize. Go ahead. And prior to you can keep going, Amanda. Prior to the storm and stay here, we had been talking about the importance of, we usually work with employers around what their needs are, a multitude of ways, but we had been really recognizing that many working and just hanging on the edge. And so we were developing tools to really communicate how the United Way systems we already had in place. And then the hurricane hit, how we can help. And go ahead, Amanda. So we had just prior to the storm developed this United at Work program, and then the storm hit, and we had a donor step forth with the matching opportunity to help us make sure that the employees that were affected by the storm in Charlotte County could have some additional leg up to weather this, the effects of the storm. Now, I know many of you guys are small business owners, and so we have had a lot of questions about, does this apply to me as well? And I would like to say that it does. I would say that there's a lot of, the SBA loans and all of those resources as well. But if you are struggling with all the things that you're doing to work and keep your life going as a result of the storm, I would say this applies to you. And what I'm about to say are these resources are people who have companies in Charlotte County and have employees that work at that company in Charlotte County. So if they live in Northport or another county, but they work for you in Charlotte County, this would apply to them. And so we do have this fund available. There are multiple funds that are out there, and this is our piece of the puzzle in terms of working to help the community to weather this. And so go ahead. We have the ability to give hope, meaning we have donors who are giving, who are matching the donor fund as well. We have a lot of resources of donations for gift cards, Publix, Walmart, gas cards, etc. And so we're leveraging all of that together to help the employees and the workforce of Charlotte County to get hope. And so you can keep going. So how to get help. This is the website, our unitedwayccfl.org/get-help. And you can keep going. So you can see a little bit since the beginning of November, we've had 261 employees submit for assistance. We did have a matching grant for a case manager who is working through those very diligently. 45 different businesses represented already. The 102,000 is we're trying to be very personal about making sure that we're really talking with each employee and really finding out what's the best match for how we can help, and certainly making sure that we're referring folks to the different resources, many of the ones that Patrick had mentioned earlier as well. And so we are administering funds for the school system. And so with that combined, we are definitely on our way for the match. Just recently had a foundation out of Atlanta reach out to us, saw what we were doing, and also gave us money for this fund. So keep going. We will have over $1 million for specifically this, and so there is a cap per household. It ends up being about $3,000. We pay directly to whatever it is that we're paying for, whether it's rent, mortgage, utilities, etc. Couple of examples. Again, you guys know this. We have people that are working and living in, whether it's a shed or their car, a family with a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and pregnant and living in a shed. Like it's horrible for us as a staff. We hear these stories every day, and what we want to do is we really want to offer hope and help. So you can see here Jenna with 6 children. I'm not going to read the whole story, but you can see here one example if you want to keep going to the next example. The Phelps family moved, a lot of these stories where they just moved here and then they moved into a home and then that home was destroyed. And so many examples like that, and keep going. And then business owners who are literally trying to get back to business. And so this is an example of a man who with his wife in the nursing home, and him helping him to get the resources he needed to get going again with his business. And so let me see, keep going. So we have a couple of different ways that we help. One, of course, is United at Work that I was just speaking about. We also run a volunteer income tax assistance program. It will be particularly important as a result of the storm that folks get help preparing their taxes this year. And the United Way runs a free program, volunteer-led, to prepare your taxes. And so that information can also be found on our website, theunitedwayccfl.org. And then we also have a season of sharing program where we help people with rent, mortgage, and utilities. It's a little bit different. There's a lot of people that are on disability, seniors, etc. And so we help through that fund. And then I think that might be, so there's my information. Please feel free to email me. Absolutely spread the word. We are, of course, accepting donations, but more than anything, we want you to know that we can help. And I do find that some larger businesses are saying, we almost would wish that somebody could come and just be here, because our people can't go, they can't leave work. They're trying to still work because they don't want to miss work, but then they still need to take care of their matters. And so I'm trying to kind of really think through some of those business locations, even the schools that might need to have someone just housed there to answer questions during the school day. So those are some things I'm thinking about in terms of what do employees need right now. Thank you for letting me be on here today.
Thank you so much, Angie, and thanks for the speed presentation. You caught us right up. I appreciate that. So we have a couple of minutes. So why don't we take those couple of minutes and answer some questions? I believe there's a couple for SBA. Amanda, do you want to take over from here?
Yeah. So Lori did ask if the number for the insurance consumer hotline could be repeated. I'll just say that it's 877-693-5236 for the state of Florida insurance consumer hotline. Carol did have a question for SBA. She said, it's been a long process and now my application is withdrawn. I have supplied all of the information. How can I be assured of the time frame? Sharon, are you able to give us some insight on that?
Yes, we can't guarantee a certain time frame, but I would suggest that she goes into one of the DRCs, and that way she can speak with a customer service, SBA customer service representative, and they can walk her through her application, see what's missing or where she's exactly at in the process. Great.
Carol, if you're still on, there is a disaster recovery center in Inglewood at the Tringali Center, and there's one in the parking lot of the Cultural Center as well. FEMA and SBA have staff on hand. You did ask a couple questions about FEMA. I don't believe we have a FEMA representative on the call today, but you did ask some questions, and I would recommend going to the Disaster Recovery Center and talking to a FEMA representative there in person. You did ask if there were any other programs available for small businesses, and I mentioned it earlier in the webinar, but I wanted to mention again the Florida Emergency Bridge Loan Program. It had been closed earlier in the month. They did reopen it last night, and they're accepting applications till tomorrow. And that is a emergency loan. It's a $50,000, up to $50,000 loan. It's no interest. It does have a year term though, so no interest, no payments, but you do need to have it paid back within a year. There's information on our website about that. I'm also happy if you provide me a contact information. We're happy to reach out to you and just answer any more questions. Are there any more questions?
I just wanted to make a comment for Carol. Carol, I have a FEMA contact that I can, I know Carol, I've talked to her a couple of times, and I will reach out with that FEMA contact so that you can contact them directly yourself. And additionally, I know that Carol is out of state. She has a business here and she's out of state. She has somebody here that's working the business for her. So going to the DRC is probably not an option unless she flies down. So we're going to just try to figure out a way that we can help her maneuver through this process.
Great. Are there any more questions? I want to kind of just remind everybody that we will put the webinar the slideshow and the actual recording of the webinar on our website and our social media. It'll go out later today. If you'd like something emailed to you, some slides or anything, if you put your email in the comment section, I'm happy to send an email to you as well. And just a reminder, Kay has got it right down here on our slide. www.clearedfortakeoff.com is our website, and there is a link to our Hurricane Ian page right on the homepage. So
thank you, Amanda, and thank you, and appreciate it. And also, you can always reach out to your chambers. Want to thank them again for co-hosting this webinar for us, getting the word out to all of their members throughout this whole hurricane business. They have been awesome. You guys are really fortunate. We have 3 wonderful chambers of commerce and directors of those chambers that are thinking not of themselves really, but they are thinking of our businesses and their employees here in Charlotte County. Really appreciate everything they do. So we are 2 minutes over, and I appreciate your help, and everybody that's been on this webinar helping out and talking with us, our presenters. Thank you so much. If anybody has any questions for the Economic Development Office, our number is 941-764-4941, or my direct line is 4944. Feel free to call us anytime. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.